I believe our guest is on the phone. Sorry to pause.
Hey, no worries, man.
But we got to get a very big superstar on the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, BERT KREISCHER. And that's how I expected this phone call to start, actually, by that sound. I think the first sound Bert's going to make is...
You win $5.
Star of stage and screen, BERT KREISCHER. Dude, you are a busy, busy man.
I have so much stuff to promote, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with my wife's in menopause. How's that start?
Okay. How's that going for you?
Cool.
It's been a little rough. I'm not going to lie to you.
I was listening to you on Joe Rogan earlier this week, and you talk very lovingly about your wife, and how did you get in trouble for what you said, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Oh, no.
I meant it as a compliment. It doesn't come out that way, though.
Okay, so he said, thank God I'm not married to a woman who I could Joe to.
Oh, my goodness.
Look, I'm trying to say, like, the ones you see in the videos are not the ones you want to buy a home with. That's what I meant.
Right, yeah, I can see how that can go the wrong way.
Yeah, the ones you see that get stuck in the washer or the drying machine, and then the guy comes up behind them, those aren't the ones that you want booking your dental appointments.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, now,
argue that.
what makes sense is why he's staying so busy right now after saying these
be out
things.
of the house.
Yeah, he's trying to stay away.
No, but you said she bought a house just without asking you. She set everything up for you. I mean, you're a taken care of man, aren't you? And you're very lucky.
Oh, yeah. I literally 5 seconds before I called you, she goes, hey, personal conversation. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, and listed like 5 things. Georgia switched her room in her dorm. Her roommate was addicted to drugs. Leanne fell. She hurt her wrist. Her trainer, she ran through 5 really big things within 5 seconds. And I'm overwhelmed. I go, baby, I got to call into St. Louis.
Now, when you're not on tour, doing BERT KREISCHER things, you are, the ultimate dad, aren't you? You're there for your family.
Yeah.
Is that a question?
Like as much as a Navy SEAL is,
Like if you do,
I'm like an oil rig worker. Like I make sure everyone's taken care of, and I'm home every now and then, and I don't cheat because I'm living on an oil rig.
Now, do you go to like school if you have to? Like, so if there's a parent-teacher conference, are you showing up to that? And are the teachers taking you seriously?
Oh, I have a bit about it. One time I went to a parent-teacher conference. I was so hungover. I did not want to go. They had you have to go. Isla's dyslexic. They want to hold her back. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I grabbed 2 Diet Cokes out of the fridge, kill a coffee, get to the meeting, crack on the Diet Cokes, put it to my lips, and realize I have a Coors Light. It's a game time decision. What do you do? Do you snitch on yourself, or do you murder that Coors Light?
I think you got to murder the Coors Light.
And then pray you have another Coors Light in the other pocket, right?
Right. So what wound up happening?
I murdered that Coors Light, and I killed the other one, and then I fixed the problem. I said, let's just teach her Braille. She's dyslexic, right? Mm-hmm. Let's teach her Braille. Her eyes don't work. And they're like, we're not teaching her Braille. I go, well, what would you do if you had a blind kid? And they're like, what? I go, her eyes don't work. She can't read. She's dyslexic. What would you do if you had a blind kid? And they go, can we give them audiobooks? I go, can we give her audiobooks? And they're like, yeah, I guess we could. And I was like, go, problem solved.
There we go. Thank you, Coors Light.
Thank you, Coors Light.
Thank you, Coors Light. Yeah, I guess you're making the rounds this week. So you're on Rogan. I guess they just released a podcast, the Fly on the Wall podcast with you and Dana Carvey and David Spade, which I guess you taped last year, which was kind of weird to hear.
I taped it in October. They're just so backlogged. I mean, they've got so many in a can. And then they were like, we're going to release it in February. I was like, well, you might as well wait till March when my special comes out.
Which is out now. Congratulations on the Razzle Dazzle Netflix special. But on the Fly on the Wall podcast, and I never really heard the story. I kind of heard about the story, is where Ari Shaffir gave you Molly without you knowing. And if you want to hear the full story, it's on that podcast. But it is a wild story, and the fact that you're still friends with him is amazing.
Yeah. He slipped me Molly in my backyard in front of my kids, and he's I love the guy, and it's like it's so hard to defend because you're like, my daughter said to me, she's like, why would you still be friends with him? She goes, would you allow me to be friends with someone that roofied me? And I was like, oh, absolutely not. She goes, well, then why would you be friends with him? I was like, well, I don't know.
It's a complicated question. Well, the story goes, Moon, that you were about to go out on tour, right? And you were doing like a last-minute podcast in your backyard with Ari Shaffir, and he wanted to do shots, and you're not a shot guy, but he insisted, right? He goes, let's do a shot of Scotch. And I was like, who shoots Scotch? I was like, whatever. And as I drank it, I felt something. It tasted off. And I just was like, that's Scotch. That's why I don't drink Scotch. And then halfway into the podcast, I felt my face felt like hot. And I was like, man, does your face feel hot? He's like, really? Do you think you're on something? And I was like, what?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. And then I had a full-blown panic attack. Because I was like, oh yeah, because I'm like, look, I'm being very candid to anyone listening, but like, people do die. There's fentanyl. I don't know what, and I have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I'm on medication. I go, did you check with my cardiologist? And he was like, absolutely not. I go, what if I die? And he goes, well, then you die, I guess. I don't know. I guess I get in trouble.
Now, Bert, what would you have said if he said, yeah, I did check with your cardiologist? He says it's cool.
I would have been like, then let's go. I consulted with a cardiologist, and he said this dose should be fine. I'd be like, all right, we're good.
And you were messed up. This was like high-grade stuff, and he dosed you with quite a bit.
Oh, I had to get on a plane that night. Well, I went to the comedy store. Well, I went and told my wife, I said, listen, you're going to be livid with what I tell you, but I need you to take care of me and not take care of you right now. Because if she took care of you, she'd go out and beat the hell out of Ari. I said, dude, I need you to take care of me. I need to get on a plane. I need to get packed. And I do not want to see the girls. And so she sent me to the comedy store. It was early, and we went to the comedy store, and I ran into David Spade, and I told him what was happening, and now I was blowing up. Blowing up. And everyone was laughing about it. Obviously, I was, it's a little traumatic to get slip drugs when you don't know. But then I had to get on a plane, and the dude next to me got the best back massage he has ever gotten in his life.
Oh, man. Oh, my.
I would not shut up. I would not. And it was a night flight. It was a red eye. I would not shut up.
And I believe the story is you came to, I think
Kansas City.
Either Kansas City or St. Louis.
I came with Kansas City, I think. Wherever Tech 9 lives.
Oh, Kansas City.
Yeah. That's how he remembers it. But did that podcast ever see the light of day? The one that you were recording?
No, and I never released it. I didn't. The reason I didn't release it is I didn't want. And this is, it's his fault, but like, it's not as funny as you think because it's interesting, but you see a very vulnerable side of me where I realize I've been drugged and I'm not happy, and you see me have a panic attack, and I was like, and Whitney, I called Whitney Cummings, and she goes, "You don't want this to be your crying Jordan moment, where like, where everyone shows the look of your realization anytime anything happens, and then you become a meme."
Wow, the crying Jordan reference. That's a brilliant way to look at that.
Yeah.
And you're he's still friends with this guy.
Yeah, I texted him last night. I was supposed to go to his hot tub and have a cigar. It's hard having a drink around him. I'm not going to lie.
I can imagine. Yeah. And I think you even told Go ahead.
He pulled me aside the last time I was with him. He pulled me aside and he says, "You have to know, I will never drug you again." And I was like, I kind of trust that.
What if he's joking about that?
Still got a lock on my backpack.
Look, the ultimate joke. As a comic, like feelings aside, the ultimate joke is him doing it again. That's the ultimate joke is, are you serious? It's like, I had to do it.
Do people ever show up to your house randomly wanting to party? Because you have that, that persona. That's your, you're the machine.
Yeah, no, we had to buy a new house. We had to buy a new house because we got doxxed, and people would show up. And they show up with a bottle of Tito's. They show up with letters. They'd show up and go, "I just want to meet Isla." And I'm like, yeah, we had doxxed, so we had to buy a new house. And it stinks because even like the UPS guys will show up, and they'll be like, "Shut up, this is where you live? or like cops. We got broken into one time, and the cops showed up. Like someone came on our property, and the cops were like, "Oh, shut up!" Like we had my sister had a heart thing go on, and she lives at my old house, and the ambulance driver was like, "Hey, I thought you lived here."
Wow,
Man,
wow.
makes you nervous.
Well, I guess so. I mean, you've kind of developed that, personality. You've created that whole thing around you that you're the party guy, but people take it too far.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's like this is the problem I have. It's like you watch Razzle Dazzle, you watch any of my specials on Netflix, you know everything about me. If you listen to my podcasts, I share everything, and I think people really feel like I know you, like you're one of my friends, and I know that feeling. I understand it because I do that even with my friends. Like I saw Rogan the other day, and I was talking about stuff that I shouldn't know about only because I listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
And you guys know that, is that people come up to you at signings or events, and they're like, "Dude, my wife's going through the same thing." And you're like, "Well, I don't know what we're talking about. You got to catch them up to speed."
Yeah. At some point, you're like, "Oh my God, this is creepy." But at the same time, thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for hanging on to every word I say. We've created this for ourselves. Yeah,
and I'm very grateful for it, and it doesn't bother me. Like it bothers Isla and Georgia way more, but it doesn't bother me. I love it. I love interacting. I love all of it, but it's got to be confusing being my daughter.
So I'm flying out tomorrow. I'm going on vacation, but I will download Razzle Dazzle to watch on the plane. Is that a good plane thing to watch?
I think so. I mean, I think it's the best special I've ever done, and the feedback I'm getting is that it's my best work yet. But you're always embarrassed or nervous. Like I have a movie coming out in Memorial Day weekend in The Machine.
Yes, you do.
And that is $30 million put into a thing that I hope is like a game changer. I hope you go watch that and go like, dude, this is everything I wanted for this summer. But at the same time, you're very vulnerable. You put it out there. Like, I'm sure you feel it like this, but like, I'm always shocked anyone likes anything I do.
Yes. Like we fooled them all, huh?
Oh, I mean, anytime I've ever had any success, I'm like, okay, I guess I got one buyer.
What is that? What do they call that? Imposter syndrome?
I have that hardcore. I have that hardcore. I'm waiting for someone to go do an interview with me and go, so you just take your shirt off, right? That's your thing?
Well, it's part of the thing. It's part of the thing. So The Machine comes out on May 26th, and this is the only movie that I've ever had somebody do this. I got a buddy in New York. He goes, "Hey, I'm flying out to St. Louis, and we're watching this movie together."
Oh, that's cute, man.
Yeah, have you ever heard of somebody doing that for a movie? Like, I want to see this with you.
No, but if it were to happen, it would be for a movie like this.
Yeah.
This is the first movie I've heard where people are like, "I'm renting out the movie theater." And like my friends, they're like, "We're renting out a movie theater." Like in Tampa, I mean, I'd be shocked if you can find a movie theater to watch it in, because people are like, "We're renting out a movie theater," and that's what gives me stress. I'm like, oh God, I hope it's good enough.
So when this comes out, are you going to be watching the returns? Like, how much do we make this weekend? Like, what are your expectations?
I'm going to South Africa like Dave Chappelle. I'm disappearing. I don't want to deal with the stress. I have to do. So we're doing a live in theater event, meaning it's going to stream into all the screens on Thursday live. We're going to do that event. You can pre-buy your tickets at themachine.movie, but and you can pre-buy your tickets for the event at themachine.movie. You can pre-buy your tickets for the theaters, and so I'm hoping people do that, but I'm going to be terrified. I'm going to be drinking myself into a hole for the entire weekend. I'm like, I don't know. I went to my trailer's playing in front of Cocaine Bear right now, and so I went to the movie theaters to go watch my trailer, and I was so nervous and sweaty and freaking out, and then my trailer didn't even play.
No.
I was like, ah, get me out of here! Get me out of here!
Did you bring somebody with you to watch it with you?
I brought 10 people.
No. What happened?
Oh, I was so embarrassed. And I stood up in front of the movie theater and told everyone, My name is Bert Kreischer. You're about to see my trailer. I hope you enjoy it.
No.
That guy goes, good luck in Hollywood, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Are you going to have a big premiere? Like, we got plans for a big, like, Hollywood, Los Angeles, we're shutting down streets premiere?
I hope so. I really hope so.
I mean, it's not far away.
I hope. Are you kidding me? I hope that Harrison Ford shows up, Carrie Fisher. I want everyone to show up.
Carrie Fisher's not showing up.
All right, so Harrison Ford has a +1.
Yeah, because Mark Hamill is your dad in the movie. I mean, Luke Skywalker is your dad.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know something even crazier? This movie is premiering on the exact same day Star Wars premiered 30 years ago.
Wow, it's like serendipitous.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I want people to go, Mark, this is your best work ever.
Well, if the trailer's indicative, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be shocked. They're going to go, Luke who?
Yeah,
Aren't you Bert's dad?
Yep. Yep, the Force is with you, and the Force is strong with you.
Yeah, the Force is with you. The fat is with you.
Hey, before we let you go, also, you got the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival, which starts in June. And I'm looking at the dates here, and you're playing a lot of shows in a row. Is this something that you could maintain?
Oh, well, first of all, the lineup is sick. Have you seen the lineup?
Oh, yeah. Well, I know who's in St. Louis. It's Big J. Okerson. It's Chad Daniels. It's Fortune Feimster, Jay Farrow, and Tiffany Haddish here in St. Louis. And Bert.
Dang.
Oh yeah, and then we've added Lewis Black. We've got Dave Attell. We've got. I mean, the lineup is so crazy, and so I can work forever when I'm hanging out with those guys. Like that's not a big deal. We get on the tour bus. We party. Everyone does 15 minutes. I do a little longer, obviously, at the end. Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like if I'm throwing a festival, I should make sure everyone gets their money's worth. That's what's wrong with me is I want to make sure everyone gets their money's worth because I know what it's like to go to a show and not hear the hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but it's going to be a blast, and we're on a bunch of tour buses, and then we'll fly private when we need to, and just party our brains out.
Yeah, this is going to be like summer camp for you.
It is my summer camp. My favorite part of this tour is everyone's on the bus. We're all going to bed, and we're still making jokes with our curtains open in our bunks. That's my favorite part of the tour.
It's going to be great. So June 24th here in St. Louis at Enterprise Center. It's the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival. Again, we got Big J. Okerson, who was here 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Chad Daniels, Fortune Feimster, Jay Farrow, Tiffany Haddish, of course, Bert himself. And, listening to you talk the other day to Dana Carvey and David Spade, the fact that your machine bit is so famous. He's got now for a stand-up comic, for people to shout out bits is an amazing thing. So are you taking requests like that? Are people shouting out, "Hey, tell the machine story, tell the machine story" at every stop you go to? Oh yeah, I haven't not told the machine story in probably 9 years. So yeah, I tell it every time. As long as people want to hear it, I'll tell it. I don't have a problem with it. I was in Austin. This is interesting. So Joe Rogan opened a new club. I go to Austin to do the podcast, and then I go to his new club. And Ron White comes to watch me work. He pulls me aside. He's like, "Hey, I'm a fan. I just want to see what you're working on. I want to see what you're doing." So I'm doing all new material, and the crowd starts chanting the machine. Mm-hmm. And I said, "I'll tell you what. I'll tell the machine if Ron White comes down and tells tater salad." And the place goes bananas. Ron White comes on stage, and he's like, "I don't remember how to tell it, but I'll do my best." And hammers through tater salad. It murders so hard that I go, "Hey, guys, I'm going to have to tell a few jokes in between. I can't do the machine right now. You're going to see how bad it is."
Awesome.
You're going to be exposed.
I go, "That story's so tight that I don't have, my machine isn't that good."
And that's your most famous story.
And that's my most famous story. I go, "Oh, let me do some other bits. You guys want to hear anything else real quick?"
Well, I don't think Tater Salad's going to be a movie, is it? I don't think so. With Mark Hamill, I don't think so.
Well, I got lucky.
Well, dude, I can't wait to see you in June. June 24th here in St. Louis Enterprise Center. It's the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival. Razzle Dazzle now on Netflix. You're competing with the Pornhub documentary, so I'm...
Good luck.
I know. We're trending on Netflix right now. And by the way, I'm going straight to that Pornhub doc.
and
that and the Malaysian airplane. And they've got workout videos. Netflix is killing it right now. Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Rock. I got to watch that Malaysian airplane video. Not on the plane, though. I'm not going to watch that on the plane.
By the way, I already started. It's awesome.
I'm not going to watch that on the plane, though. That's
No, watch Razzle Dazzle on the plane, and then just go to sleep for the Malaysian time.
And, of course, The Machine, the movie, in theaters May 26th. Dude, we love you. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll see you when you come to St. Louis.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
There he is. The great BERT KREISCHER.
Thanks, Bert.
I love that guy.
Me too. Now, does that mean he gets a certificate? Because that's his fourth time on the show. Dang.
I mean, I think for the certificate, you need to be in studio.
Yeah, so I would say phone is what, a quarter?
Yeah, he gets a quarter. So maybe he gets a second-timer certificate just for being on the phone.
3 times. So a third.
Yeah.
A third. I like it.